Hello everybody, finally back with another video. Got a new microphone, so here we go. Obviously I've seen a lot of people talk about this, but I just had to talk about it, and that's basically Iwata of Nintendo basically announcing that Nintendo is going to let third-party developers work on their franchises. And when I heard that, I said it's about time, quite honestly, because I never had a GameCube. And the reason I never had a GameCube was I did not like the disc format they were using. I didn't understand why they didn't basically use DVD, and I didn't like it where they were going, so I simply never bought a GameCube. Obviously, the last couple of years I got one, and there are a lot of great games on the system. But I don't know if that was the effect, but when I got a Wii, which not long after launch I got a Wii originally, it almost seemed like, honestly, Nintendo had got their nuts cut off, that they were afraid to make a lot of games for the system. And so, over the course of the Wii, their games slowly trickled out. And ultimately, in my opinion, ruined the momentum of that system and was one of its undoings, where it could have lasted a lot longer than it actually did. And yes, we could argue that if Nintendo originally launched the console with the motion control and the regular classic controller, that might have helped too. But that's here and there. You can't go back in time. Because I was hoping when Nintendo originally did this generation with the Wii U, that they would basically go, honestly, balls to the wall, first 2 years with all their major and minor franchises, put them all out there, and I thought people would get excited, a lot of people buy the console, and the third parties would have no choice but to make games for the console. But instead, Nintendo seemed, whatever reason, they wanted the third parties on board. And unfortunately, by doing that, all the third parties who were on board were releasing games that basically had come out a year ago on the past generation, which I thought was weird. Why would I want to buy this game again if I already owned it? And I didn't think there was enough of a fan base who hadn't owned it to buy it again. But I thought if Nintendo the philosophy should be, screw the third-party developers, we're going to release our own games, and we're going to sell really well, and eventually you're going to have no choice to join our platform. Period. That's my philosophy I thought they should have. It's almost like Nintendo has to jump over hoops for the third-party developers, and I don't think they should have to. I think if you sell very well, they're going to have no choice to follow you. But they kind of didn't. The games have slowly trickled out, and every launch of every console goes that way. But where we are now, I'm hoping that with this announcement that these games are already in development, and hopefully at E3 we get to see this. I hope they really do surprise us this year at E3. I kind of think in a way they have to, just to get rid of some of the negativity on the system from people who are even fans of Nintendo right now. Because there's just too much negativity right now. Yes, we could talk about how completely bad branding of the console, how a lot of people don't even understand that the Wii U's not the Wii, and that whole debacle. But hopefully we finally get the games we want. They could go all the way to the NES and release a Star Tropics 3. Of course, I'm saying that because I love Star Tropics 1 and 2. Hopefully we finally get an F-Zero game that I want. We haven't had one since a GameCube. Or a Wave Race. Or a series that has only gotten one game over here, The Legend of Starfy. It came out of the DS. That was a franchise that's been coming out for years in Japan for years. It's basically a platformer more geared towards kids, but we have never seen one on a home console. I mean, honestly, another series I'd love to see them bring out back would be to bring out Pokemon Snap 2. That would be cool. Or why hasn't Nintendo, quite honestly, in my opinion, gone the Skylanders / Disney Infinity route? Why is there not a Pokemon version of that? That to me is just asking people to give you their money. So I hope Nintendo looks at all their franchises. I hope we get a lot of surprises. Hopefully people finally get a Metroid Prime 4. Because all they need to do for the Wii U is simple. Bring out games. That's the only thing wrong with that console. Even at the current price point, if you bring out games that the fans want, they'll come. It doesn't matter. They will buy that console. You're not going to get the casual base back. The Wii was just a once-in-a-generation kind of thing that, for whatever reason, Nintendo hit it right at the right time, and everybody bought into it, and that fad of motion control has kind of worn off. They see that stuff is still clumsy, that stuff's not even close to being perfected yet, and they're really not interested. That I thought was cool when that motion control first started. I thought, just like I thought the original Kinect was cool, but I'm kind of like, you know what? I would just rather go back to my controller, because once you go away from that controller and you do something where people have to be physically good at something, you're immediately cutting off your fan base that can play that, and that's not fun for people. So hopefully we get a lot of things that people have been wanting for a while. Maybe a console Star Fox. Hopefully they match up the franchises with the right developer. You know, kind of cool to see that, you know, obviously the Tecmo Koei Legend of Zelda Dynasty Warrior game looks really interesting to me. And they show examples of where Nintendo is no longer not hard about, you know, not so got a hard stance about not, you know, allowing their franchises to cross over with other stuff. So what game series would you hope that Nintendo brings back that you would love to see? Obviously, I've said this before, for me it is F-Zero. But Nintendo's got so many things they did in the past. Like, for example, they could do a Rad Racer 3. There's so many games they've left dormant that hopefully they finally start dusting them off. Or third-party games that meant a lot to the older systems that would mean a lot to the fans today. I mean, Contra's the one off my head, but there are clearly a lot of others. I mean, obviously, if they could get Konami to make a, obviously, old school updated version of Castlevania, people would love that. And there are a lot of them out there. So love to hear your guys' opinion. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys again soon.